Hi, thanks for coming this morning. Today I want to talk to you for 10 minutes about London Bridge. I'm sorry I couldn't make a video last week. I was on my summer vacation. Now I'm back, so hopefully I'll get back into the swing of things. Don't forget, as always, if you click on the link below here in the description, you can find the script for this talk. You can also find questions, multiple choice and essay type, and you can find sample answers. Many people that watch this video, they don't actually click on the link down there. They don't go and look at those questions. You should. They'll help you understand this talk more, but also they'll help you practice your English. I'm convinced if you practice your English, you will get better. Please try. Okay, today I'm going to talk to you about London Bridge for 10 minutes. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, I'm sure most of you, many of you, maybe even all of you know of London Bridge. Maybe you've seen pictures or at least heard about it. You probably know this song, London Bridge is falling down, da da da. Maybe you know the tune. Anyway, many people that know of London Bridge think that this is London Bridge. But in fact it's not. That's actually a bridge called Tower Bridge. This is London Bridge. It's not nearly as impressive in stature, but it is much more impressive when we look at its history, which we're going to do a little bit today. Now, the London Bridge, of course, crosses a river called the River Thames. It's spelled T-H-A-M-E-S, but it's actually pronounced Thames. The word Thames comes from Brittonic Celtic, which is the language that was spoken by the Britons, the people that lived on the island of Great Britain, thousands of years ago before the Romans came. And the word comes from tamesas, which means dark. The river, of course, is quite fast and it's quite dirty. It carries a lot of mud, so it's quite a dark river. Now, in the beginning, there was no bridge at where London is now. There was a small farm, a small settlement. People didn't actually cross the river there. They crossed a little bit further up at a ford. They forded the river. Actually, ford, F-O-R-D, comes from where a river is low and you can walk across. The city of Oxford in England is a place where oxes forded a river. Many places that end with ford come from a place where the river is quite low. We're running out of time already. So in the beginning, there was only a small settlement there. Then, of course, the Romans invaded England. In the beginning, about AD 55, Julius Caesar came over, and after that, the Emperor Claudius, in AD 43, he invaded and started to colonize England. Back then, London didn't exist. London is going to start to become important soon. But in the beginning, the Romans based their center of power, their capital city, at a city they called Camulodunum, which is modern-day Colchester. This is about 150 kilometers north of where London is now. So why does London Bridge come into this? Because the easiest way to get to that city is not to sail around England, but is to sail up the estuary to where London is, get off your boat, and then walk across land from there. So what the Romans would do is they would sail across from Europe, they would go up the estuary, they would leave their boats, they would come ashore, they would cross the River Thames, and they would go up towards Camulodunum. So of course they had to make a bridge. So in the beginning the Romans made a very simple pontoon bridge. A pontoon bridge is a bridge built on boats. They put wooden boats across and they put wooden boards across the boats and they make a bridge. But of course, once you have a bridge, civilizations are going to start springing up. Anywhere you have a bridge, a place where people cross a river, you're going to get shops, you're going to get hotels. You're going to start getting people that supply the people crossing the bridge, the armies there. So settlements start to grow. Now once this place begins to grow and once the Romans decide that this is where they're going to be crossing the river all the time, they built an actual wooden bridge, a very strong wooden bridge, and London begins to grow. Then 410 AD, the Romans suddenly leave England. Why? That's a story for another talk. But the Romans suddenly leave England. England breaks up then into about 7 different kingdoms. These kingdoms fight amongst each other, and the Danes from Northern Europe start to invade, and England is basically in a period of darkness, a period of war. Finally, a king called King Alfred, he's quite famous, he starts to unite some of the kingdoms together. He unites Wessex and Sussex, and he starts to fight against the Danes. He's known as the first king of England, although it's probably his grandson, Aethelstan, who was more successful in his fighting against the Danes, who captured and unionized more of England. So his grandson, Ethelstan, is probably really the first king of England. Anyway, at this point, England is divided into the English and the Danish. The Danish live in a place called the Danelaw, and this boundary was the River Thames. Where these two civilizations, where these two peoples were separated, was the River Thames. And now you need a bridge. The city of London is starting to expand because it's a very useful defensive position. It's a place where the Danes have to cross if they want to invade southern England. So King Alfred and the people after him, they start to build a better bridge, a stronger bridge. They build a nice wooden bridge. It looks quite nice, look. Now, that's pretty good, but as with any wooden bridge, of course, it's susceptible to fire and other disasters. In 1091, it's knocked down by a tornado. In 1136, it's destroyed by a fire. At this point, London is starting to fall into disarray because the people living there, they don't really build anything. They live in the old Roman settlements, and they basically adapt and change those by using bits of wood, but they don't really make anything. But towards 1100, well, after 1066, when England is invaded by the French, things start to get built. And in 1209, King Stephen, same as me, King Stephen, he decides to build a stone bridge across the river. So in 1209, the first stone bridge is built. Now, this bridge is quite wide, it's very sturdy, and it's very good. But once it's built, people start to build on the bridge. They put shops, they put houses, they put hotels, they put taverns, restaurants. The bridge becomes extremely congested because you have these giant buildings appear over such a small area. They actually are supported on the side of the bridge so they can build outwards as well. But there's a very small dark passage through the middle of them, so the bridge becomes extremely congested. They also use the bridge to display heads of people that have been executed in London. People who have been convicted of traitorism or things like that, their heads are displayed on the bridge as well. So when you enter London, you go across the bridge, you can see these heads too. Of course, 1666, the Great Fire of London takes off. At this point, some of the houses on the bridge have actually been pulled down because it's so congested. So it makes a nice break. The Great Fire of London only reaches halfway across London Bridge. After that, they rebuilt. There are more houses. 1762, finally, they realize that this is just insane. You can't use the bridge. So they pass a law that says nothing can be built on London Bridge, and they tear down all of these buildings. So, London Bridge is usable, finally. However, by 1831, London is becoming a huge city, a very industrial city, and a lot of traffic is going in and out of this bridge. Of course, not cars yet, horse-drawn carts. And the new bridge, well, the bridge is so congested that by 1831, they realize we have to build a new, wider bridge. So, they do. They knock down the old bridge and they build new London Bridge. The old bridge had been standing for 622 years, from 1209 till 1831. That's a pretty long time. So they built this new bridge. It's a wonderful new bridge. However, of course, again, it gets congested. We have the invention of the automobile. We start to get traffic from cars and trucks and lorries and buses. And this bridge becomes extremely congested again. One statistic I found quite interesting, every hour 8,000 people and 900 vehicles cross this bridge. Every hour. That's insane. And now, if it was just congestion, we probably still have that bridge, but that's not the only problem. The bridge was actually also sinking. You can have a congested bridge, but you cannot have a bridge that's sinking, because if it sinks too far, you won't be able to use it. So they have to make a new one. 1973, Parliament provides the money, and they build the new London Bridge next to where the old London Bridge is. Interestingly enough, old London Bridge was sold to an American, a man called Robert P. McCulloch, who was, I think he got rich from oil. He bought the bridge and he shipped it brick by brick to Arizona. If you go to Arizona, you can actually see old London Bridge. There is a myth that he thought he was buying Tower Bridge, but that's not actually true. He knew what he was buying. Anyway, so the new London Bridge, 1973, is the London Bridge we have today. It's wide, it's strong. We also have many other bridges across the Thames, of course, because you cannot just have one bridge. Now, London is such a huge international city. So there has been a bridge over the River Thames in that area for about 2,000 years. I told you, the history of London Bridge is actually very interesting. This bridge, Tower Bridge, That was built in 1894. Nowhere near as old, nowhere near as interesting. Okay? I managed it. I finally managed to finish the talk inside 10 minutes. Thank you. Okay, that was London Bridge. Next week, I'm going to talk about the 7 wonders of the ancient world. Should be interesting. Thank you. Don't forget, if you look at the link down here, you can find questions, answers, the script, and the MP3 for this talk. Please practice your English. You will get better. Also, if you liked this, click like. If you want to share it with people that want to study English, share it. If you want to subscribe, please subscribe. I try and make these talks every week. If you have any ideas for topics or anything you want me to talk about, please put them in the comments section below here. Thank you. Have a nice day. Talk to you later. Bye.